So I really need to talk about Guilty Gear Strive's Beta 2. Let me preface this in saying that Guilty Gear Strive was in my top 2 most excited games for 2021, only coming second to the game that comes out right before it, which is the Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate. I really loved Beta 1 for Guilty Gear Strive. I found myself, after the beta ended, I found myself in disarray, not knowing what to play or what to do, not wanting to play any other fighting game but Guilty Gear Strive. Yeah, I really loved it, and this beta 2, some of the changes they made just ain't it. Don't get me wrong, I had problems with Beta 1. I had some very, very big problems with Beta 1 that do follow over to Beta 2, but there are now even more problems with Beta 2. So let's start out with the most obvious, the elephant in the room. I like to go from bad to good, so we can end the video on a good note. Starting with the worst, the lobby system and the servers. Now, it feels like these games, of course, do internal testing. You know they do internal testing. Hell, they might do some outsourced testing. Of course, the only way to be able to fully test the servers is to do a beta and do a stress test. But with as bad as these servers are and as bad as the connection is, and at times taking 10 to 15 minutes to actually find someone to fight against because you go from failed to connect to player, failed to join match, failed to connect to player, connection failed, going back, getting sent back to the main menu and even the start menu multiple times, which happened to me for 15 minutes straight last night, or the night before last. I'm not sure when I'm going to upload this video. It's infuriating. Like, it feels like they did not test these servers whatsoever. No internal testing, no outsourced testing, nothing. They're completely relying on the player base, the beta player base, to show them how decent their servers are, even handling 100 players, which is crazy to me. I feel like internal testing alone should show how bad the servers are, because like, there's no way that this isn't showing on just 50 players trying to connect to the server. Like, it is absolutely atrocious. And with that, I do feel like it's due in part to the lobby system. I don't know why fighting games feel like a lobby system or like a special little cute thing is required. Dragon Ball FighterZ was like the most mainstream game that I remember that really started it. And you would have thought, because it's by the same developer, you would have thought that they would have learned with Dragon Ball FighterZ, because the lobby system for that game was horrible in the beta, and it was even worse at launch. Like, it barely worked. You would have think, being the same developers, they would have learned from that. But no. They said, fuck your opinion, fuck the thoughts, fuck the community. Let's make this lobby system 100% required. You have to go through this lobby system the exact way we want it designed to even find a match. Unless you want to do the on and off spotty here and there, join a match through the practice mode, which I tried in beta 1 and it worked okay, but now beta 2 I sat in it for 30 minutes and could not find another player to play against. So I had to go into their lobby system, and when you get into the lobby system, it's nice. Admittedly, it is nice. You get to make your own little character, design them with different outfits, some from the characters in the game, choose a weapon for them. And now, in the beta 2, previously it was you just walked up to a player and you challenged them, and that led to some problems of its own, but that's actually gone. Now there's duel stations, and these work as well, about as well as you would expect, based on how well the servers work. Which is not at all. You go from player to player trying to join a match. Half the time you click on their name 30 times and you get no reaction. There's two players fighting inside two other players. Like, it just makes no sense whatsoever. You're not getting teleported around anymore, but it's also seemed to make it even harder to actually find a game. Nobody actually wants to be the person who queues up. They want to be the person running around looking for other players, and man, it just feels weird. And I do feel like with the lobby system, that does contribute to the servers. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've tried to queue up with someone and I just get kicked back to the main menu or the start menu. It's failed to connect to player, failed to connect to match. I don't know why these fighting game developers are straying so far away from just a ranked match button or a player match button. If you want the lobby system, that's fine. I appreciate the effort that actually went into the lobby system, but I still don't think just because you put that effort in, it should be required for us to deal with the problems that comes with it. If you want your lobby system in the game, that's fine. put it in its own game mode. Mortal Kombat has something like that. With King of the Hill, it's not exactly like that. It's not as aesthetically designed, but it's still an optional lobby system that you can go to. And if you don't want any part of that, which a lot of people don't, you click on the ranked match button, or you click on the player match button, and it's that simple to find a game. And we have to talk about the rematching, because rematching was a big problem in Beta 1. You could not rematch. Like, no matter how hard you tried, you could not rematch. You had to get out of the game, you had to win or lose the game, get back up, watch the animation in the lobby system, get back up, and click on the player again. Well, now there's a rematch system. In the park, you can rematch as many times as you want, but in the ranked system, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It's nice that we have a ranked rematch option now, but tell me if this makes sense to anyone, especially anyone who's played a rematch system in, Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. Best 2 out of 3, right? No, not in Guilty Gear Strive. You have 3 matches. No matter what, there's 3 matches. I've countless times won 2 matches, gotten kind of careless in the last, or the opponent started to read what I was doing and switched up his playstyle entirely, and I lost the last match. Well, you would think, well, I won 2 matches, now he's got a game, he's got the opportunity to win 2 more matches and keep me from winning another game to actually win the set and take the ranked match win, right? No, that's not how it works at all. It's 3 games. You win 2 and lose 1, the set's over. They get that last win. You lose 2, win 1, the set's over. They get that last game. The only situation where it actually ends up feeling like a proper rematch system is if both players win 1 match and then it comes down to the last game. Beyond that, it's 3 matches and it's done. That makes no sense whatsoever. And on top of all of this, they made gameplay changes from Beta 1 to Beta 2. And they also make no sense. They went out of their way to make the game slower. Now, while I do feel like some of the jumping changes and like the jump attacks and the anti-air changes, that was a good idea on paper, because jumping is extremely strong in Guilty Gear Strive. It really changed nothing. It just took away a lot of the tools that other characters actually had to deal with it. They said that they made 6P more powerful, the anti-air, but it barely works. 2H barely works. People are still jumping like fucking idiots, and it feels like Jump the video game, along with Throw the video game. It feels like these fighting games have definitely taken a more casual approach to their design to pull in that casual fan base and get more players playing their game, and ultimately it just dumbs the game down and makes it look really stupid to watch unless there's 2 decent players playing the game against each other. When you get yourself, I'll use myself as an example because I played fighting games for years. I know the basics, I know the advanced, I know how to do all of the cool little things. I know what frame data is. A lot of people don't even know what fucking frame data is, which also is pretty much non-existent in Guilty Gear Strive. You can just press buttons endlessly. Special moves have no recovery frames, they have no punish frames. It's just endless moves over and over again. But I know what I'm doing, so when you get me versus someone else who doesn't really know all too well what they're doing, but knows how to jump and press buttons, it looks like a fucking mess, because to deal with the jumping, in all honesty, thanks to anti-airs not working hardly at all, you have to jump, and you have to try to anti-air, and you have to anti-air through jumping, and it just looks like a fucking mess. I wouldn't think I was playing, Guilty Gear at that point, or a fighting game for that point. In Dragon Ball, you kind of understand. You've seen the show, you've read the manga, whatever else, you know that those characters are all over the place in the air and everything else. When you hear, hey, this is a fighting game, not based around anything but fighting game characters, and you see this, it looks fucking ridiculous. Am I playing Guilty Gear Strive, a fighting game, or am I playing jump around like a fucking moron with your head cut off? It makes no sense to me. Jumps are extremely strong, mostly 9 times out of 10, especially when it comes to a character like Potemkin or Kai, Geo. Most of the time when you go to actually anti-air, you're just going to get stuffed if you're on the ground. The only way I've found to actually consistently deal with people jumping around like morons is to jump around like a moron myself. And that's not okay to me. Along with that, the hitboxes feel completely busted. I got this little gem that I'm showing right now from a stream I did a few days ago or last night. Again, I don't know when I'm going to upload this video. This little gem, my move completely goes through the other character and I get hit and lose the game. The hitboxes, and that's not only the only time. Hopefully I have some other footage on the screen that I'm showing you of other times that that's happened. it feels ridiculous. It feels half-baked. It feels like my moves are legitimately going through people. I'm getting hit when I'm behind the opponent. My moves are going through the opponent and they're winding up behind me. It's insane to me. It feels like this game was half-baked, and I don't know how a game that looks this beautiful and has this much ambience to it, and the levels are designed so well, I don't know how it could feel half-baked unless the gameplay came second to the art and graphic design, which it does feel like has been happening a lot when it comes to fighting games. Except for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the worst looking fighting game of the modern era ended up having some of the best goddamn gameplay I played in a fighting game in a long fucking time. It just feels like this game was half-baked or entirely designed around casual play, to where I guess they thought that a lot of people just wouldn't notice this shit. And I don't know how many other pros or people who know what's going on when it comes to fighting games, I don't know how many other people are actually noticing any of this shit, because I don't really follow the Guilty Gear scene too much. I don't really follow any of the pros in it or the big names in, you know, the Guilty Gear scene, so I don't know what they're saying about it. But as far as it goes, from someone who plays NRS games, who's played Street Fighter for years, who's played Marvel vs. Capcom for years, pretty much any fighting game I can get my hands on, this game does not feel solid at all. Feels like it needs a lot more time in the oven. I'm talking about a 3 to 4 month delay to actually work on these servers. It feels like it needs at least 2 more betas to stress test these servers and get them completely fixed. It feels like they need to completely rework the lobby system and stop being so goddamn stubborn about it and make it an optional feature. And it feels like they need to rework the frame data and also the hitboxes and the basic movement of this game to make it feel like even a fighting game, much less a Guilty Gear game, because the few people that I have seen complain about the game just say it's not Guilty Gear. And I feel like that is a trend that's been going on. Mortal Kombat 11 does not feel like a fucking Mortal Kombat game, and apparently Guilty Gear Strive does not feel like a Guilty Gear game to Guilty Gear series veterans, and I want that fixed. I want to see fighting games get back to what they were, and Guilty Gear Strive is one of those games that I was so excited for and had so much fun in Beta 1, even with the problems it had. They promised they would get ironed out, and they haven't. At this point, when it comes to Guilty Gear Strive, if the lobbies are if they don't delay the game again, which I really hope they do, I really hope they are dedicated to fixing these servers and this lobby. If it doesn't get delayed again, I'm not buying it on release day. I'm not pre-ordering the game. And I will see how it goes for probably the first day or two of launch before I even buy it. And the only way I'm buying it is if the servers are stable, the connections are good, and the lobby's fixed. I'm not going to pay for this game in the state that it's in right now in Beta 2, less than a month out from release. It's in an unacceptable state when it comes to server connections and the lobby system. And if that's not fixed, I'm not buying into it. Which, to some of you watching this video, if there's some Strive apologists in here, whatever you want to call it, I don't want to be rude. If you enjoy the game, have fun with it. I have a lot of fun when I get up against people who actually know what they're doing. When I'm playing against a player who actually knows how to play a fighting game and understands the fundamentals and doesn't jump around like a fucking idiot, uses block strings, has pressure, I have a lot of fun even when I'm losing. Like, the game can be an extreme amount of fun when you're up against someone who's not just an idiot and is able to abuse these broken mechanics without knowing they're abusing the broken mechanics. When you're up against someone who's another fundamentalist of, you know, fighting games, it's so fucking fun. It really shines, but 9 times out of 10, they're just jumping around like a chicken with their head cut off. Again, it can be a fun game. I'm not saying it's all bad. There's definitely some fun to it. But again, I don't want to be rude to anybody who actually likes the game. If you like the game, like the game. I'm happy for you. Enjoy it. But I feel like even the people who like the game have had to have experienced some of the same server problems that everybody else is experiencing. And I feel like everybody needs to say something about it before it hits launch like this. This is unacceptable. Everybody wants this new big fighting game to play, and I do too, but I want it to work right. But anyways, that's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I'm just one dude, and I'm probably not going to do a whole lot with this video, but the more voices speaking out about it, the better chance that more people have to see the video, to know what's going on, and to say something about it so something actually gets done. But like I said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Tooten. I've been your host, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.